Welcome to Purpose 828 Encore. We had a fantastic day and evening yesterday. Thank you guys. And thank you for coming back here. So I'm so excited to introduce our next speaker. You know, one of the things that Janine talked about yesterday is, hey, we're going to study our why. We're going to study our purpose. And if you heard a little subtle comment she said, you also have to master your craft. You got to be an expert at your craft. And so, I could say, hey, we're in the, Manny and I, we like to say we're in the people business. Sometimes I might even extend that and say we're in the purpose business. Just so happens that we sell furniture and mattresses or furniture and sleep. And we could take our template and go apply it to other industries. But we are in the home furnishings business. And so we're literally in that business. And so we've got to infuse both the purpose and owning our craft, just being really dominant at our craft. And so our next speaker is going to help us do just that. This is someone who lives in my hometown, so that's near and dear to my heart. He works for Miskelly Furniture. He's one of their top-ranking executives. Let me tell you a little bit about this man, and I guess I can't call him a man. I got to call him a doctor. He may or may not be a real doctor, but at least he does play one on television. Yeah. So Dr. V, as he's known, and Dr. V is he started in the waterbed business, like all great sleep retailers, and he started in the waterbed business. He worked for a company. And then for several years, he ended up moving to Jackson, Mississippi, and owned his own waterbed company for 10 years. And I did cheat and read his bio. He told me, you've known me for so long, you cannot read my bio. You better speak from the heart. And so I'm going to speak from the heart about this man, because you guys have heard me say, like, this guy, when I was early in the business, he taught me everything I know about mattresses. I mean, they were just white boxes to us, and we were in the 2 and 3% sleep percentage rate. That's what we sold. And he's taken Miskelly's from 7% to 25 and 30% sleep. They have their own sleep stores. They sell sleep, and they're one of the most, they have 50, 60% market share in central Mississippi and growing. I've heard a podcast he's done. If you get Furniture Today, he's recently, this summer, he was on the cover of Furniture Today. He's a well-known expert in the science of selling sleep. And I heard this podcast. I shared it out with our team. I was like, I called him right away. I think I was coming back from the Four Oaks groundbreaking. I said, and we had I had a lot of windshield time. I said, man, this is amazing. I just listened to your podcast, and it's so good because, I get these things in the mail. I just got something from Casper yesterday, and I get all the direct-to-consumer, with box beds, and he's going to go counter to that. Like, is that really what the guest is looking for? Or are they looking for a differentiated experience? So after he got out of the waterbed business, he went to work for Miskelly's, and he's ascended through the ranks of Miskelly's. And here's what I'll say about Dr. V. To know him is to love him. And when you spend time with him, if you have a bad day and you speak to him, like, you're going to have a smile on your face. You just can't help it. He's one of those people, you guys know who those people are, that when you interact with them, you want more of them. He's one of the most positive, happiest, genuine, authentic people I know. And I love the man. And I just think it's such a blessing and an honor that he's going to come present to our people. We've been collaborating for 15, 14 years, 16 years, and we've always talked about how can we get our companies together, closer together, doing more together. So I hope this is just a start of a tighter collaboration between our companies. It's going to be a blessing for Dr. V to come speak to us on the science of selling sleep with purpose. Welcome, Dr. V. Let's get in gear. You good? You good? All right. It's all yours.
Thank you. I'll take care of it. Why, good morning, Broad River. Good morning. I said good morning. Good morning. The doctor's in the house, and we're fixing to rock it. Who wants to rock it today? Come on. Yes. I actually made Charlie put the lab coat on. I was like, Charlie, you want me to wear the lab coat? He said, absolutely. I said, only if you put it on me. So we want to put Charlie to work. I am telling you, I am excited to be here today. So we're going to start out immediately with a story that I think sets the tone for what today is going to be like. I want to talk to you about a story that happened a couple of years ago. I was in Las Vegas. I was there at one of the furniture conventions, and a friend of mine said, hey, we need to do something totally different while we're in Las Vegas. Let's go to the Stratosphere. Has anyone been to Las Vegas? All right, raise that hand. Has anyone jumped off a building that's 1,000 feet in the air? One. There you go. Got a couple of them. So here's the deal. The Stratosphere has this thing where you can go to the top of the actual hotel. And they have a plank that allows you to walk off and fall 1,000 feet to the ground. It is not suicide. Supposedly they're going to tie a rope to you. So this is what I did. I thought this was a great idea. It was about 10 o'clock at night. I go to the top. They hooked a little rope right here on the back of you, kind of thing. Now here's the thing about this free fall. The rope travels faster than you do. So when you jump, it is a true free fall experience. Like you don't know if that rope is really attached to the back. For 23 seconds you were hoping that it is. So I go up to this plank and I look down, and literally it's 1,000 feet down. And the wind's blowing and the lights of Las Vegas are out, and you see at the very, very bottom this red and white circle. You assume that the red is paint. You don't know that, but there is that assumption that it's paint. And so I look down at it, and of course the person behind me is like, just jump. And my mind was like, no. And so I looked down at it, and I leaned over, and then of course I stepped back because there was a part of me that said, this is insane. Don't do this. So then I walked back up to the edge, and I leaned in a little bit further, and this is when your toes start to try to curl around the edge of the platform, but it can't because you're actually wearing shoes, but your toes try to do that anyway. And I leaned a little further, and then I came back up. And then I did, and I don't know why people do this, but I thought this is the third time. There must be something magic about the number 3. No, I'm going to do it this time. So what do? You kind of stretch out the arms. You kind of get ready. Not that that has anything to do when you're falling through space. But I leaned over a little bit further, and a little bit further, and then I fell. It was at that moment, the moment when gravity took over, that I realized I was all in. That second, that 1 second where you go from having total control, I can still come back up if I choose to that moment when you lean in so far that gravity, another force takes over, and now you are fully committed. So today, I'm going to ask, by the way, I survived the fall, in case you're wondering, it's 23 seconds. So today, what I want to talk about is, are you all in? That's not me, by the way. Mine was at night. I took that off the internet. But it is the Stratosphere. That's what that looks like. So today, I want to know, are you all in? Are you so into Broad River at this point that every day is the day that you are so committed to a force that is greater than yourself that when you lean in, it takes over and drives your behavior? Because that is where the real exciting part takes over. As nervous as I was, the moment that I went off the platform was the most exhilarating ride that I was on. So if you want to be on the exhilarating ride called Broad River, you've got to lean in, you've got to trust that Broad River's got that rope tied to you, that they literally got your back, and that you can fully go all in. So let me tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Alan Vonderhaar. I am better known as Dr. V with Miskelly Furniture. a lot of things that, it's interesting because I told Charlie on the front end, Charlie was going to read my bio, and I was like, look, Charlie, you got to speak from the heart on this one. We have known each other for too long. You got to be able just to share about who I am based on how you know me, because that is relationship. When we talk about connecting, which is so important, we do it from the heart. We don't do it from words on a page. And so I told Charlie, we have got to connect. So, brief history on mine. It is true. I graduated from the University of Missouri, Columbia. I went to work for a waterbed store, went to a convention down in New Orleans. They actually had waterbed conventions back in the 80s. Very cool. On the way back, I spent the night in Jackson, Mississippi. Decided that at the age of 22, I should open up a waterbed store. Why? Because literally, why not? I was just young enough and stupid enough to think that I could pull that off. I rode that wave for 10 years. Yes, that was a pun intended. And about 1994, the waterbed industry moved on. For whatever reason, nobody wanted to buy them anymore. So I went to work for the best furniture company in Jackson, Mississippi at the time, and it was Miskelly Furniture. And on August 15th, I just celebrated 25 years with the company. Yes, you can applaud that. That's what I'm talking about. So very early on, I always had kind of an affiliation towards mattresses, because the thing about waterbeds is you better be selling sleep, because that was the days where you really had to convince people that that was a better sleep surface than what they were obviously used to, especially in the traditional town of Jackson, Mississippi. So I kind of gravitated towards that direction, and then back then I became the actual mattress buyer for Miskelly's, as well as being a sales associate for them. As it turns out, there was a Simmons commercial, and it was the bowling ball commercial. Anybody remember the bowling ball commercial? Us old timers? Absolutely. Quite simply, this was a commercial where the guy on the commercial would take a bowling ball, drop it on a mattress, and the individual pocketed coils of a Simmons Beauty Rest, the bowling pins would not fall over. All right? The guy in the commercial wore a lab coat. So at a Christmas party, as a joke, they said, hey, let's give Alan a lab coat like the guy in the commercial. We'll call him Dr. V, tongue-in-cheek kind of thing. And so as a Christmas present in front of everybody, they gave me the lab coat, said Dr. V Mattress Specialist. All right? This one's probably a little different version than what it was back then, but that's all right. Had it for a couple of years. It's interesting because it was all funny until Chip Miskelly, one of my owners, said, you know what? We can market that idea. And instantly I became Dr. V, took over all of the advertising for Miskelly Furniture. That's now probably 23, 24 years ago that I've been that, and I've been Dr. V ever since. To the point to where literally people, I can drive through Wendy's and people will recognize my voice and ask if I'm the sleep doctor. It is just, it's funny because I get to deal with a lot of the challenging customers that I know all of you guys have had, but there's something magical. I call it the Johnny Carson effect because of my age kind of thing, but it could be any of the late night hosts. But because I come into their bedrooms every night, like through the news, I'm amazed how people think that they know me. People that I have never met, they can be really angry on the phone, and I'll be talking to them back and forth, and I said, well, you probably know me as, Dr. V. And it's like, Dr. V? Like as if I'm some sort of celebrity, and it's like, I sell white rectangles. It ain't that complicated. But either which way, so I really kind of poured into the whole concept of Dr. V. I've been doing all of their advertising. I've been the face of Miskelly's. When I took over bedding, as we talked about, we were probably doing 6-7% commodity purchase. Now we're 25 to 30% is kind of where we live in at. So when I talk about being all in, what does all in mean? 25% of our store sales are in bedding. At least 20% of that are an adjustable bases or power bases, depending on what phrase you want to use. We have about a 61% attachment ratio on Tempur-Pedic alone when it comes to adjustable bases. We are all in on the category. Later, I'm actually going to get into exactly what our different processes are. But before then, I want to talk about purpose, because we all know what your purpose is. It's furnishing life's best memories. Well, Miskelly's purpose, which is totally independent of yours, is very, very similar. It's enriching people's lives through home furnishings. It's enriching people's lives through home furnishings. Now, we chose that because we really wanted to focus on the concept of home. What is a home? It's really quite simple. Home is the heart of life. When we start talking about your purpose and your why, you really need to understand what we're doing, because all of a sudden it's no longer just selling a mattress. It's no longer selling a sofa or a chair or anything like that, because home is where we feel at ease. And it's where we can get comfortable with our family. It's where we create those surroundings around us and we develop it. Home is so much more to our guest. We see the furniture every day, but our guests don't look at our furniture the way that we do, and we need to understand that. We need to remember that, because at the end of the day, home is where we belong, and what you do matters. And when you get down to that point when you're trying to make that sale, or you're encouraging your home furnishings consultants to make that sale, and they have that fear of rejection, the point when they get into the concept of understanding that what they do matters, not only should they ask for the sale, they have a responsibility as a fellow human to ask for the sale because of what you're creating in those people's homes. It changes the mindset of how you do things. So, with that in mind, I want to tell you a story. Anybody ever go to Disney World? Raise your hand if you're a Disney World person. All right? I went there 2 weeks ago. My 24-year-old daughter is absolutely a Disney princess. She absolutely loves it. So my wife and I, my 24-year-old daughter, went to Disney World a couple of weeks ago. One of my favorite rides is the Jungle Cruise. Has anybody ever been on the Jungle Cruise? Raise the hands high. I got to know if you've ever been there. All right, sounds good. All right, the Jungle Cruise, quite simply, is a ride at Magic Kingdom, where you get into a boat, you kind of go around this little waterway type of thing. What it's known for is the bad jokes. The skipper tells these jokes along your journey, and they are really, really bad. Things like, I used to work in an orange juice factory, but I got canned because I could not concentrate, and my boss wanted to beat the pulp out of me. Okay, that's bad. That's what makes it funny. Or as you're approaching the end of the ride, they might say something like, well, you'll notice that there's a dock on the left and a dock on the right, but please don't be confused, it's just a paradox. All right, I'll let that one sink in. Boom, there you go. It's the badness of the jokes that was what makes it so funny if you ever take this ride. All right? Well, on this particular day that I took this ride, Tyler was our skipper. And as we started to pull away from the dock, he said, everybody look back and wave at the people that you might never see again. Like this is going to be some sort of scary ride. And of course, I'm all in. So I'm like waving at all the people on the dock, and they're waving back. And we take off, and we're starting to go around the things that he's talking about, that, don't be afraid, we're on the denial, and all those kind of things. But then all of a sudden, there's like these great pauses. And all of a sudden, I'm realizing that Tyler, for whatever reason, is just not into it. I mean, his one job at this point is to go on this little 4-minute boat ride and be funny with bad jokes. And he isn't. His jokes are flat. They're inconsistent. There's not many of them. Now, I'm sure he may have given this spiel multiple times earlier that day. He might have to give that spiel again multiple times that day. But when we finally got off the dock and left, because this is one of my favorite rides, was disappointed. And I left there thinking, what a bummer. Because here's the thing, if you've been to Disney World, you try to do a multiple of things. I'm going to go on this ride once. I'm going to be there for 5 days. Now, I might do Space Mountain 2 or 3 times because that's a really cool ride, all right? But I'm only going to do the Jungle Cruise one time. And if that had been my first time, I probably would never go on that ride again. What you do matters. And if you are the professional at Broad River that I know that you are, you don't have the luxury of a bad day. You just don't have that luxury. And unfortunately, we sometimes think, okay, it's my 5th up of the day, my 8th up of the day. It doesn't matter. It could be, you've got to be on and all in. When we talk about being all in, it means you're all in for the first guest. That's relatively easy. We've gotten together, we've had connect time, and all of a sudden we're all pumped up, guest comes in, blah, 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 we're all excited. But you've got to be just as all in on the guest that comes in at noon, who's trying to squeak in on their lunch hour, or 2 o'clock, or 4 o'clock, or 5 minutes to 9 before the store closes. You've got to be all in because you don't know if you're going to get another opportunity. It may be the one time that they're going to come in while they're looking for their selection. What you do matters and the attitude that you have towards it. Now, I will contrast that with the safari ride because I had a guide named Shannon, and Shannon was awesome. If you're not familiar with the safari ride, this is at Animal Kingdom, where you actually get to go around the savannah and get to see all these animals, and savannah was absolutely incredible. She talked about the giraffes, she talked about the zebras, she talked about how they have their babies, she talked about what they ate. She was so excited that you felt so special while sitting in her truck. She may have given that spiel 10 times earlier that day, she may give it another 10 times, but on the one time that I was in her truck, she was amazing. And your guests know if you're amazing or not. They know if you're giving your very best each and every time. All right, I've got one more Disney picture here. So one of the big things that we wanted to do is we wanted to go have breakfast with the princesses, which I thought was a really cool idea. Now, my daughter's favorite princess is Ariel. My wife's favorite princess is Cinderella. Anybody got an idea who my favorite princess might be? Aurora, Sleeping Beauty. Very well. So I made sure that I had my picture made with Aurora while I was there. That is truly Sleeping Beauty. Now, I will say that Snow White came in a close second because, you know, she sleeps for a long time as well, and I'm all about the concept of sleep. So we're going to play a little game right now. All right, you have there a picture of Justice League. Justice League comes from DC Comics. All right, so this is not Marvel. There's no Thor. There's no Iron Man. This is Justice League. All right. Now up there in Justice League, you have Flash, you have Aquaman, you have Wonder Woman, Superman, Batman, and Cyborg. For some reason, people don't know who Cyborg is. Cyborg is a half man, half machine, super strength. You know, if you've seen the movies at all, if you haven't, but he's one of the Justice Leagues that came together. Now, as a kid, you always had to see those pictures where they say, one doesn't belong. Okay? Which one of these doesn't belong? I've heard Flash. I heard Cyborg. I've heard Aquaman. I've heard Batman. There ain't many left. The one, in my opinion, that does not belong in this group, Batman. And the reason why, he has no superpowers. If you look at the group, Flash, super speed. Aquaman does strange things in the ocean. Wonder Woman, superpowers. Superman, duh. And even Cyborg. The one person in that list that is not a superpower, that has no superpower, Batman.
He's the one guy that's got super dollars, though.
He does have a lot of money. I will absolutely say that. Of course, if you're Superman, you can walk in any bank you want and get all you need if that's what you needed to have was money. They never seem to be too worried about money on these superheroes kind of thing. But what does Batman have? He has got one kick-butt utility belt, is what that man has. Now think about that for a second. He has got the most awesome utility belt. It is absolutely incredible Because no matter the situation that Batman finds himself in, he knows the exact tool to pull out, to use at that exact moment to be successful. Whether it's going to be the grappling gun, the Batamaran, the bat spray, or whatever it is that he needs. How he gets...
He's also got the nicest ride.
He does got a cool car. Okay, I could have put the car up there, but we'll count the car as another tool in his tool belt, although it's not on his belt. But that's what makes Batman so special, is his tool belt. It is the tools that Alfred has put together for him that makes that. Now here's the thing. In your stores, here's the reality. You've got some Supermen, and you've got some Wonder Women. They're in your stores. And be thankful that you have them. They literally have almost like superpowers in the numbers that they put up that defy logic. But the reality is that most of your associates are going to be like Batman and Batwoman. They just don't have the superpowers. What they need is a utility belt that comes from you. You have to be the Alfreds that load them up with the right tools that allow them to be successful in any situation. Now let me take that one step further. And you have to train them on how to use the tools. That becomes significant. It isn't just that they have them, but they know how to use them, and they know how to pull them out at the time that is most useful. Batman doesn't pull out the spray if he doesn't need it. If he's trying to jump from one building to another, it's the grappling gun that he pulls out. He pulls out the right tool at the right time in that situation, in that particular guest experience. Because if you don't pull out all the tools, it's a waste. So it's you staffing your staff with the right utility belt, because that is how you give Batman and Batwoman, quote, their superpowers, is by the utility belt and the tools that we give them. So I'm going to take you a little bit through Ms. Skelly's mattress sales process. Kind of pull back the veil. Now, as I told Charlie, to a certain degree, I feel like I'm just preaching to the choir. There are so many things that you guys do right. It is nothing short of amazing what you guys do right. Now, at this point, normally I save questions to the end. I'm not. As we go through this, if you got a question, I want you to ask it while we're actually on topic. We become a little bit more conversational. I'm going to take you through each of these 6 steps. We'll spend a lot of time on this particular area, but I want to make sure you understand what we do and why we actually do it. All right? So, this is our 6 steps. Check in and connect. Then it's a pillow fitting. It's a comfort roll down. It's a power base. It's confirmation. And it's completing the sleep system. All right? You'll see this slide again if you want to take a picture. By the way, I've had made my PowerPoint available to Broad River, so if anybody wants it, wants copies of anything that I'm going through, feel that freedom. You can certainly have it. And a lot of this stuff you guys do. I just want to give you a little bit of our why behind it. So, first step, check in and connect. This is engaging the guest to build rapport. Inexperienced salespeople have a tendency to skip this step. This is relatively actually new for us because when it came to selling bedding, our first step always used to be the pillow fitting. That was the first thing we always did. We have added this step this year, and here's the reason why. The consumer has changed. It used to be that the guest would come to you for their source of information to help them make a decision. They just don't need you as the source of information any longer. And you really need to be able to connect on their purchase journey of where they are at. And you can only connect by developing into the relationship that happens. So for us, this becomes the very, very first step that we have on it. This is where you can overcome their discomfort and fears, because understand that as a salesperson, you represent the big evil person who's going to overcharge them and take their money. That's what you're going to do. They don't necessarily trust you, like you, believe in you at this point. Plus, they actually potentially know more about the product they are looking for than you do. That's a tough realization when you think about it. Because whereas you might need to know about a bunch of different mattresses, they've now focused in on a couple of mattresses. And they have read reviews, and they've read specs and details. And they literally may know more about what they are looking for than you do. So this is where you need to overcome their discomfort and fears. You got to find out, where are they on their purchase journey? Because here's the thing. If they're coming in at the beginning of their purchase journey, they really, truly may not be in a position to buy that day. You know, one of the things that we talk about is it used to always be ABC. What does ABC always used to stand for? Always be closing. I will tell you that that has changed with today's consumer. It is still ABC. The difference is it's always be consulting. There's a huge difference in the mindset, because if I'm beginning my purchase journey and I'm coming into your stores, I want information that I'm seeking, and I want you to come around me. On the flip side is that if I'm at the end of my purchase journey, I'm looking for somebody to help me make my final decision to buy it. So where I'm at is different in which tools you pull off your belt to be able to actually make that transaction happen. So you got to find out where their purchase journey is. You got to find out what research they may have done. You got to figure out what stores they have already been to. Now here's the cool thing. If you ask them, they will tell you. If you make that connection and you come around them and you're consulting with them, and you're not just trying to act like a salesperson trying to sell them something, and you didn't rush them into the mattress department just to sell them a mattress, and you ask them, hey, you know, we've got a lot of mattress choices here. Let me tell you something. You think that the guest gets the right mattress. You guys got salespeople every day that work on making sure that the guest gets the right mattress for them. I will tell you that that's probably not a true story. And you know why? Because as your sales professionals, you know what they do? They show 3, 4, maybe as many as 5, but that's stretching it out type of thing. So they don't get to lay on all of their choices. They get it really narrowed down for them, and then the guest usually buys one of those choices. And it may or may not be what is best for the customer. So there's always that certain amount of risk that's involved out there. So you need to be asking them, what kind of research have they done? There's a lot of mattress choices in here. Just in order to save you time, I'm now talking in terms of the interest of the guest, or saving you time, effort, energy. You know, I'm just kind of curious. What have you seen online? Now, one of the things that we do, we default to the idea that they've already been online. For some reason, a lot of sales associates think that they haven't done that. We default to the idea. Now, if they haven't been online, they'll just flat out tell you. But if you say, what have you seen online that you like, guess what? They will actually tell you what they've seen, and all of a sudden they load what I call the sales shotgun. They actually give you one of the shells to put right into the shotgun shells so that you know that what you're looking for. You can ask them what stores they've been to. You can actually tell them what do they like about their experience in the other store, what did they dislike. And guests will tell you all this information. What do they like? What do they not like? At the end of the day, step one is about connecting. And the more you can connect before you jump into the presentation, the more effective the presentation will be. So, for us, step one, connection. Step two, before I go there, don't be a salesperson. People hate to be sold. None of us like to be sold. But you know what we do like to do? We like to buy. Be the assistant buyer, or as we say here at Broad River, be that home furnishings consultant. Consult with that individual. Understand that is an attitudinal shift of the way that it used to be. So let's go to the next one. Pillow fitting. How many actually do pillow fittings? Raise your hand if you do pillow fittings. There you go. Should be everybody. Exactly. Okay. Newsflash. Pillows fittings have nothing to do with selling pillows. And if you've got salespeople that think that way, they're wrong. Now, you will sell pillows, and that is an awesome thing. By the way, if you're going to do a gift with purchase on Tempur-Pedic, and you're just going to say, oh, well, we have $300 to give away, and you give away the 2 pillows without establishing the value of the pillow, you just gave away the $300 and it didn't mean anything. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Absolutely. You got to establish that value. What you guys just talked earlier about the delivery and what you're doing is that you got to present that delivery fee as $299, and the customer for a moment has got to feel the pain of thinking that they're going to pay the $299 for that delivery fee. So when you take away the cost of it, because you're going to do that as the gift with purchase, there is relief from the pain. But the pain comes from the value of thinking that I'm going to give you money in exchange for something, whether it's pillows, whether it's a delivery fee, but you got to establish that value first. So the pillow fitting has has everything to do with selling mattresses. This is so cool because so much can happen. I'm always amazed by the sales consultants that rush this step. Matter of fact, you get those salespeople that if you, you guys carry bed gear, I carry bed gear as well. Awesome pillow collection. But I know based on how many times that I've done this, that you're probably going to be a 2.0. And I'm amazed at the salespeople that shortchange the process. They already kind of know what the answer is going to be, and so they pull the pillow that it's going to be, lay them down on a mattress, and the customer says, yes, I like that pillow, and they don't take them through the process. And yet the process is what is so beautiful about the pillow fitting. I will almost spend more time on a pillow fitting than I will actually on the mattress selection. And here's the reason why. Quite simply, it demonstrates our value as a mattress consultant. It allows us to engage with that customer at a level that most consultants never do. It is not the step to rush. It is the step where I can now show that I care. I get to carry on the whole concept of connecting with that individual when I take you through the process of literally, we call it the pillow flip, where you can put the pillow over, you can flip it over, you can narrow down the choices. But when they're properly fitted for a pillow, it's magical. We all know some of the things to say, 30% of our vertebrae is from our necks up, and it's having the neck properly aligned and supported kind of thing. But it's the conversation that you have. So if you didn't cover some of those steps in the connect stage, now is a perfect opportunity. The other cool thing about a pillow fitting is in order to be fitted for a pillow, you got to lay on what? The mattress. Absolutely. What do most customers want to do? They want to push on the mattress. So you get an opportunity to actually put them on a mattress, which breaks one of the biggest barriers as sales consultants. So you get to break that barrier, and you get to demonstrate that you're just not trying to sell a mattress. This step is critical, and yet I find salespeople every day wanting to rush through it, pick out the right pillow, so now we can go look at mattresses. But your real value as being a consultant happens at the pillow fitting stage. This is an opportunity to gain the guest's confidence right here. Even the right mattress may not make a difference with the wrong pillow. Okay, let me tell you a newsflash on what we discovered, at least at Miskelly's. Anybody have to deal with comfort returns? Okay, we started tracking numbers. And you guys do a whole lot of numbers. You guys are all about data. Okay, let me give you one. Our comfort returns went down when our attachment ratio went up. As obvious as that sounds, it made a difference because all of a sudden now you're dealing with the concept of the total fit of the customer, of the guest. Our comfort returns went down when our attachment ratios went up. When you get that guest on the right pillow and the right mattress, it truly makes a difference. We all know about the backside stomach, but it's their job. So here's a great transition statement. When you take them through the whole aspect of the pillow fitting, all right, and they find out their pillow, one of the transition statements we use is that, all right, as we're now going to look at mattresses, now understand that at this point, I hope at least by now, I got an idea of a direction. One, I've actually laid them on a nice mattress to begin with, because if you're going to do pillow fittings, do it on a nice mattress. Don't do it on a chime, and I have nothing against chime, but don't do it on a chime. Do it on a nice Tempur-Pedic. The reason why is because at that point, almost as an afterthought, you could say, oh, by the way, how does that mattress feel? If I could make that mattress a little softer or firmer, which would you prefer? And you'll be able to develop a direction on where you're going to go, because at this point, that's the key, because once you transition from the pillow, you got to know where you're going to head in part of your mattress presentation. So I actually sit there and say as a transition statement, okay, here we go. We're going to go check out some mattresses, but you, Michael, have one job. You have got to bring your pillow with you, okay? That's your responsibility. Michael, can you do that for me? And Michael will always say yes, all right? We get up. Inevitably, Michael will leave his pillow on the bed, and I will stop. And I will not touch that pillow. But I will be like, Michael, you said you would keep up with your pillow. And Michael will be like, oh, okay, I'm sorry. And I'll reach over and grab his pillow, and I'll tuck it underneath his arm. And literally, they will walk the whole time with their pillow. Now notice obviously several things is that I said carry your pillow, because at the end of this process, I have every intention of selling this person a pillow through the whole pillow fitting process. But the idea is to transition in to that whole mattress presentation, which brings us on over to step 3, and that is comfort roll down process. All right, I'm not going to spend a lot of time here because you guys have your own process on going through all the different mattresses that you carry. But this is where you focus on finding the right mattress. The amount of time you spent prior to this point will give you guidance on where you're going to go with it. So this is the time where now you're going to lay them on different mattresses. You're hopefully, now I think you guys do the pillow fitting after you choose the mattress, is what a few told me? Okay, or you do it before? Before is much better in my opinion, but once again, whatever your process is, I think the idea of fitting them and then letting them take their pillow through the whole process is way stronger, and we have way more success in that because we built value. Now, by the way, I tell them on the front end that these are $200 pillows. I do not shy away from that at all because I want to have value built into that pillow. If I'm going to have to give it away with a Tempur-Pedic down the road, I want to make sure, once again, they understand the value of what that is. And if not, I also want them to know that that is how we treat those pillows so special. That those pillows do make a difference, and statistically, they do, because people are more comfortable. People who get our bed gear pillows, they just think they're, anybody sleep on a bed gear pillow? Raise your hand if you sleep on one. That's awesome. That's great. Everyone. Now here's the thing. Side note, sidebar. You should encourage your sales associates to sleep on one of your mattresses with one of your pillows, with your sheets, and your protector. Because if you're not, let me tell you what happens in the mind. This is what happens. Salesperson's doing their whole spiel. They're all talking about those pillows, and all of a sudden we get down to the end and the customer goes, well, yeah, $200 is an awful lot to spend on a pillow and kind of thing. And your sales associate, in their mind, though they don't speak it out loud, goes, I know how you feel. I feel the same way. I haven't spent any money on one pillow either. and they'll back away from that moment where that customer or that guest is on the edge, and with the right encouragement would cross over the line and invest in a better quality sleep. But because they have fear, the guest pulls back. And because your sales associate wasn't all in to what we carry as a sleep system, they too subconsciously will back away. And at the right moment that they should be giving them extra encouragement and motivation, they stop short. So sidebar on that one. If you're not sleeping on a bed gear pillow, you should be. If you're not sleeping on the Drytex sheets, you should be. If you're trying to cut corners yourself, understand that your guests are just like you. They will have those exact same type of thought process versus the sales associate that says, I sleep on a Storm 1.0 and it has changed the way that I sleep. I get your hesitation. I too felt that same way. But I decided that if I was going to be selling this, I had to invest in it. And I'm telling you, and if the consultant has done what they were supposed to do in building that confidence, it's just enough to put them over the edge. So encourage yourselves as well as your team. Invest. Invest in the products that you represent, because it makes a difference when you get that guest right there on the edge. All right, so focus on finding the right mattress. That was a little sidebar there I threw out there. All right, comfort matters, softer or firmer. As you're going through the testing, quite simply, this is a case. It's an easy question. If I could change one thing about this mattress, make it a little bit softer, a little bit firmer, which would you prefer? Because comfort matters to the consumer. They don't care about your springs. They don't care about your foam. They just don't care about all those details. Nor do you in most products unless you're really a geek about it. But when you buy a camera, or if you've got an iPhone, you don't know how it works. You just know that when you use it, it produces the results you want it to have. And your guests are no different. Weaker salespeople try to get into all the specs and that. They don't care about any of that. They care about comfort. And if you've got the right confidence that you built, it'll go that way. So, oh, wow, okay, this is great. Okay. I keep coming back to you guys over here. I'm not trying to slight you guys over here by any means. But these people need to hear this stuff, okay? Okay. This might be worth the price of admission right here. This one line, if you get it and you understand it. Consultants fear looking stupid. Okay, you can applaud that. Absolutely, that was good. Okay. Okay, let me give you an explanation on that one. Consultants fear looking stupid, and it drives their behavior. Their fear drives their behavior. If you want your consultants to do something different, you have to take away the fear. How do you take away the fear of looking stupid? Train, 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 train. I know that sounds so obvious, but it is so true. If I don't understand how something works, we're going to talk about power bases later, but I'm going to use this point now. If I don't understand what the remote looks like, where the buttons are, and I don't know what to think, I will avoid the presentation quite simply so I don't look stupid. If I don't understand what the bed gear pillows do, I won't give a full presentation. If I don't understand what a Tempur-Pedic mattress is, much less the difference between the 12 different Tempur-Pedic mattresses that there are, I will avoid the presentation for fear that you will ask me a question as a guest that I don't know the answer to, and I will look stupid, and therefore I will take you to what I know. Inexperienced salespeople love to go to the low end because they don't have to know as much about it, and a chime mattress is a chime mattress, and it's a block of foam, and you can sleep on it, and if you like it, great. The reality is we can make a $3.99 mattress sound awesome. We can make a $5.99 mattress sound awesome. We can actually make a Tempur-Pedic mattress sound awesome. It just requires a little bit more work. Consultants fear looking stupid. This is dramatic when you think about how you train. If you want to change behavior, you want them to sell more bedding, warranty protection, it doesn't matter, whatever it is. It's going to be through the training and the understanding that they have the confidence that they can go anywhere with that guest. And if they don't, they will avoid it. Subconsciously, their fear will overtake them. So train, 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 right there. That's really good stuff right there. All right, train on the roll down. All right. This was an eye-opener for me. Now, and here in a moment, you'll see a commercial with one of our showrooms. So our big showroom is 110,000 square feet. So it's a really, really big store. It's got about a 6,000 square foot mattress showroom in it. I probably have, I don't know, 65 mattresses on the floor. It's really, really big, a lot of choices. So I did an experiment one Saturday morning with the group. I actually gave everybody a blank map of all of our mattresses, okay? And I said, write down the name, the size, and the comfort of every mattress in the department, whether it's a firm, a cushion firm, a plush, or an extra plush. I was shocked at how poorly they did. That by memory, they didn't know that. I knew the name of every mattress in there. I knew the comfort level. I knew the location of it. But when I gave them a blank map, how poorly, and I'm pretty passionate when it comes to mattress trading, and I was shocked at how many sales associates couldn't complete the page. They got a couple of them right, and what I found what they got right were the ones that they sold the most of and the ones that they would go to. And what I found is that they didn't understand the roll down. That when a customer says, you ask the question, well, if I made it a little softer, a little firmer, what would you prefer? I'd prefer something a little softer. They didn't know where to go. They would just have an idea that, well, come with me. And then they would walk them over to different mattresses, lay down this one, this one, this one, and they weren't narrowing down or eliminating the choices. This was huge and a great exercise to make sure. And so we discovered that as simple as our training would be, we actually did a whole training meeting on what we called the roll down. If somebody doesn't like this mattress and they say they want it softer, where would you take them? Because here's what we found out what was happening. They sometimes wouldn't take them to the one that was at the same price level. They would jump down 2, 3 price levels because that was the mattress that they knew. They understood a little bit because they had had success some in the past because they sold it. So they knew where that one was located at. And they missed out on what could have been a better choice and a higher price point for that guest. So train on the roll down. Eliminate the choices. This builds the confidence with the consumer. And as I say, narrow down based on their preferences. Not the consultant's preferences, but their preferences. You got to understand and listen to the customer. We talked about that earlier, that unfortunately a lot of times we listen, heard this yesterday, we listen to respond, we don't listen to understand. And you've got to help your consultants understand that they need to listen to understand, not just so that they can respond with their next sales pitch. It's listening to understand. So narrow down the choices based on their, meaning the guest, preferences. And I will tell you, when the mattress and the pillow fit, it is absolutely beautiful. And the guest knows it. It produces the wow factor, the factor that you want to know they absolutely believe in. All right? Step number 4, power base. Who sells adjustable bases? Raise your hand, raise it high. Oh, you got to raise this one high. This is my favorite category. Absolutely. All right. Power bases. You can call them adjustable bases, power bases. I don't really care either which way. I think the stigma of them being just a hospital bed, a lot of that is gone to a certain degree, especially if you treat that they're gone kind of thing. But here's the thing at Miss Kelly's. We have a huge attachment ratio. We sell power bases all the time. And as I like to tell my consultants, do not make a power base presentation. Absolutely not. Under any circumstances should you ever make a power-based presentation in the way that most people try to make it. as an add-on. Instead, continue making a mattress presentation. That's critical. Bob Munkle, who used to be with Serta Simmons Bedding, now with Nectar, I went to a conference a long time ago, said something that literally changed my life. Huge investment for us. He said, you know, it doesn't make any sense for a guest to lay on a mattress that they've now told you that they like, and you take them off of that mattress, put them on a mattress that they don't like, and now try to add an adjustable base. And I was like, boom, wow. I came home from that conference and I made the decision that every single mattress on our floors that can articulate has an adjustable base. So when that consumer narrows in on whatever the mattress of their choice is, and it doesn't matter. Now that's an investment, and we had a huge growth in business with attachment ratios. So when I say don't make an adjustable base or a power-based presentation, don't. Continue, because once they find out the mattress that they like, it's an easy transition question to say, if I could make this mattress feel any better, would you like for me to? And they always say yes. And the first thing I do is make those feet rise. Because another feature of this mattress is that the feet rise. Now I'm into a sleep system, and I am no longer into a power-based presentation. So another feature of this mattress is that the feet rise. We all know about adjustable bases. One of their biggest things that adjustable bases are known for is their transition to sleep. It is absolutely critical. Now, I use an adjustable base every single night. I have the massage system every single night. And I turn my adjustable base on, and I have literally trained my mind that when that base comes on, I've now, at this point, this is where I shut down the laptop, I shut down the phone, I shut down the iPad, the TV is off. At this point, I am going to transition to sleep. And my mind knows I literally fall asleep probably in 8 minutes or less. It is rare that I am up any longer than 8 minutes. And I track my sleep every night. I've got a sleep tracker on my phone. I probably have 600 nights that I've done, and every single night I track my sleep. Works right off my iPhone. You can download the app. It's called Sleep Tracker. It doesn't even cost any money. It's got an extra cost feature if you want it. I don't use it, kind of thing. But it works off either the vibration or the sound in your iPhone in particular. I have it right there on my nightstand. I used it last night as well. I can tell you last night that I slept, of course I was in a hotel, wasn't on my Tempur-Pedic. By the way, I sleep on the Lux Breeze, just so in case you're wondering. Okay? Why? Because it is the nicest Tempur-Pedic that is known to mankind. That's why I sleep on it. Because when I get asked, Dr. V, what do you sleep on? I will tell them exactly what I sleep on. And I sleep on Dry-Tech sheets, and I sleep on, well, mine's actually a Thunder pillow, which is the original Storm 1.0 is my pillow of choice type of thing. That's the pillow that I sleep on. So, and I've got actually a Vertex mattress protector. So, either which way. My point is that I am all in, even down to tracking my sleep. And this helps in the transition sleep. I heard a sales associate there that it is rare that I hear something new, but every once in a while I get somebody to say something new. And I got a consultant that said this. I was walking by, and of course I listen to my salespeople all the time, and this person said this. She was in the middle of her presentation. She was explaining the massage feature and why they should buy an Ergo instead of an Ease. If you don't know the difference in all, I don't know which bases you guys carry, but this is the one that's got the massage system on it. She said the massage system is like you can remember when you had your children. Now this happened to be a mother that had small kids. She said, remember when you had your baby and you were trying to get your baby to go to sleep at night, and you would put them on your shoulder and you would just kind of lightly tap them on the back until they would transition to sleep? This is kind of the adult version of that. Wow. And I was like, that's awesome. That is an incredible description that she was able to, and of course she sold the adjustable base, she's got one of the highest attachments, but she created that whole mind picture for the guests to experience what that would be like. All right, lots of benefits. Train. Easy question is that, of course, the whole concept of adjustable bases, you elevate them up, it feels great. When you take it away from them, obviously it stretches out the back, it feels like crap. They can't believe that it feels as bad as it did when they first laid down on it, kind of thing. So you give it back to them one more time, and then quite simply, the question is, was it better elevated or flat? Yes, go ahead. Question time. All right, Kevin.
We have a similar presentation.
I figured. Go ahead.
I guess my question is, and we do the same thing, is there any added benefit to raising the feet prior to the head?
Oh, excellent question. Absolutely. There's a huge, huge difference. I'm so glad you asked that question because it's really a great answer. Quite simply, when you raise the head first, you have to adjust your body and use your back muscles to be able to fit back into the position. If I raise the feet first, my body locks into that position, so when I raise the head, I don't move. So if you start with feet first, you're always in a situation where the customer has a more relaxed experience than versus fighting with the mattress. I don't want that guest to feel nothing but just joy. And if they've got back issues at all, I don't want them trying to use their back to reposition because their head went up and they slid down the mattress. So yes, feet first. Let me give you another side note here. Okay, love this kind of sidebar stuff. Here's the thing. If you are trying to coach for results, that will always be a challenge. When you just tell your sales consultants, be better, sell more, do better, I need a higher percentage, when you coach for results, it's a challenge. Coach for the process. One of the things that my mattress manager on my floors, what I say, every presentation, feet should rise. I may not be standing next to you here and everything that you're saying, but at a distance, I can coach and I can look. Did feet go up? Because in every single presentation, that is a critical step. In the mattress presentation, not the adjustable base presentation, but in the mattress presentation, feet should rise, each and every time. Sure.
In my experience, there's been a few guests that I've had that have had like motion sensitivity issues, vertigo, and elevating their feet first has actually triggered episodes for them. So do you or any of your consultants, mention to your guests before that you're putting them in that position, what you're going to do, and maybe get like a notification from them that might trigger something like that?
That's an actual great point, and the answer is yes. One of the best things about an adjustable base presentation or mattress presentation is you and your consultants should go through that exercise, both as the guest and as the consultant, all right? And the reason for that is that if you tell guests what they're going to feel, they will feel it. For example, and I wasn't trying to get into all the details, but it's a great question because there are some people that fall in that category, but not many. So I default to feet rising. But one of the things that I tell them that in a moment, I'm going to go ahead. Another feature of this mattress is that the feet rise. So in a moment, I'm going to raise your feet. Slight elevation of your feet is going to cause your pelvic bone to tilt. And it will give you a more natural curvature of your spine versus on a flat surface where your pelvic bone torques and it enhances the curvature of your spine. So I'm going to raise your feet up. You will notice that you will have pressure relief in your lower back area. So I actually take them right through the whole process of what I'm going to do and what are they going to feel once I do it. And inevitably they go, oh, wow, that feels great, which is exactly what I want them to say. Now, I do rely on the customer to know that their feet are going to rise. If they have issues, typically they know they have issues, and they'll say, oh, well, that's going to... So it's slight elevation. I'm not looking for the whole Craftmatic, taco kind of thing that used to be out there, kind of thing. Slight elevation. I do the same thing with the head. Slight elevation of the head will open up the airways. You will notice that it's a little bit easier to breathe. Another good point here. It minimizes snoring. Do not use the word eliminate, because it doesn't eliminate. Okay, that's a misnomer. But it can minimize by opening up the airwaves. If you use the word eliminate and the gust still stores, then the wife thinks that they couldn't believe you and you lose confidence with the customer. The whole point is you want to be able to tell them what you're going to tell them what you're going to do, then tell them what they're going to experience once you actually do it. So yes, it is a great point to bring up ahead of time. All right, confirmation. I'm going to go through these slides pretty quickly. So features versus benefits scale. Okay, another topic here. This is good stuff. As a guest, I have a really big stack of money. But I'm not going to give you my big stack of money for your little stack of benefits. Okay, but it's worse than that. Because my big stack of money, by my perception, is even bigger than what the actual money is. Because my big stack of money that I might invest in a mattress means that I no longer have money to invest in going on a trip. It means I no longer have money to maybe invest in my son's tires on his truck that I need to be doing in a couple of months. So it isn't just a big stack of money, as I've heard. It is actually a perceived big stack of money because it represents more to me than just the $1,000 or $1,500. It's the opportunity that I no longer get because now I've decided to buy a mattress with you. So your stack of benefits can't just equal. It's got to be bigger. And it doesn't need to just be bigger. It's got to be bigger than my perception of what that big stack of money is. So when we talk about the scale between benefits and money, it's got to be a big stack of benefits. So you've got to focus on this. So this is what we call the confirmation, where we really bring it home on confirming the sale for the guest. Because I stole this from Bob Munkle. This is great. The sale is made when the guest's confidence in the outcome exceeds the fear of making a purchase mistake. The sale is made when the guest's confidence in the outcome will exceed their fear of making a purchase mistake. So at this point in this step, your goal, increase confidence, minimize fears. And there's all sorts of techniques on which to do that. I'm not going to go into all those right now, but ultimately, that's when that sale, and it doesn't happen until then. If my fear of making a mistake is too great, I will not give you a big stack of my money for your little stack of benefits. I got to have confidence in the outcome to minimize that fear. So this is where you can overcome objections, reaffirm that the guest is making the right choice. Now we'll go back one. So those are the things, what I call the confirmation deal. Anybody want to write those down? Take a picture of it. Then I'll go to the next slide. But this is that whole section where you're now going to bring it all down together. So that's step 5, confirmation. Everybody got it? Yes. All right. Go to the next slide. This is where we complete the sleep system. I'll go through all of these. This is when we confirm their pillows, because now they decided on their mattress and their base. We're going to confirm their pillows. We're going to protect the mattress with obviously a mattress protector. We know all the buzzwords to say there. We're going to tie in the benefits of the sheets. I particularly like the Bedgear Dry-Tech sheets. I think they are incredible. If you do not have a pair, you absolutely should have one because they're awesome. Here's the other thing. Proper expectations about delivery. You guys probably do a good job with that. I find that salespeople have a tendency to shortchange on really what those expectations are. So whatever your expectations are, this is where you are still being the consultant. You are still being the assistant buyer. You're not trying to jump off to the next up, but you're really tying up the loose ends. Also, proper expectation of adjustment. Rough speaking, it takes 3 weeks for a human being to adjust to a new sleeping surface. It takes 3 weeks. Now here's the beauty of you telling them that. If after the first night it doesn't feel as good as they thought that it would, based on their experience with you, and he wakes up and goes, I don't know about that mattress last night, Martha's going to say, now honey, you know what Danielle told us. Danielle told us it was going to take us 3 weeks to adjust to it. They'll be like, oh yeah, you're right. Because reality is in 3 weeks, they'll be happy with their mattress, typically speaking. If they're not, in our particular case of a comfort guarantee, you got to sleep on a minimum of 30 nights. We do that for the benefit of the customer, not the benefit of Miss Kelly's, because either way, we don't keep the mattress on a comfort return. So whether you sleep on it 1 night or 59 nights, doesn't matter to us. I encourage the customer to keep it 30 days, so if they do reselect, they reselect with purpose. Not just because they didn't like it, but they'll understand more of what they didn't like. So, proper expectations for adjustment, review of sleep comfort if it's applicable, all the way around, and then congratulate the guests that they made a very, very nice choice. All right. So there's our whole 6-step. Here, I'll go back one time because I have some people writing some things down. I'll take a drink of water. How much time do I got? Because I'm on a roll. We good?
I have a question for you. So at what point during your presentation are you going over the 90 days or the sleep guarantee, or comfort guarantee, whatever you offer?
It's part of that confirmation process right there at the end. Yeah, right here at the end. So it's that whole concept of sleep comfort, all that's like step 6. But this is really where you're kind of confirming the whole sale. We're assuming that you made the sale. I'm doing the add-ons, the pillows, the sheets, the protector, the sleep comfort guarantee. All of those kind of things all kind of come hand in hand. But I say continue to be the consultant. All right. Everybody got it? Boom. Yes?
How and when do you integrate your financing options into the sale?
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Michael appears under his breath going, as soon as price is mentioned. That's a great answer. Michael, you could be doing this presentation for me. Yes, whenever actually it's appropriate, and I say that because, you know, I'm a firm believer, I love the idea of financing. I love the idea of monthly payments because we have proven that, you know, higher monthly payments usually produce higher average tickets by the very nature of the financing. So if that's an issue with the customer, and about 1/3 of our customers actually finance. So if it's an issue, we certainly bring it up. We don't hide from it. We don't run from it. It's a great option that's out there. Charlie, remind me, I got something to tell you about something that we're looking at and entertaining.
I will remind you that.
Got it. It's a 60-month, no minimum, no money down option. It's, okay, all right, side note. Okay, my cat's gonna have to wait a second then. All right, 60-month, low interest, 60-month, no money down, no minimum, low interest. It is an option for the customer to actually pay part of the interest, not necessarily up front, but during the life of the contract. One of the things we found out from Wells Fargo is that almost 70% of the Miss Kelly customers actually who are getting like 48 and 60 months are paying it off in 24 months or less. And it's not because it's no interest, it's quite simply they just get tired of making the payment. They come into a tax refund, they get a bonus, they get some extra money, and they're just like, this is just a hassle to make this payment. I'm just going to pay it off and be done with it, kind of thing. Well, the people who are making the money on that one is Wells Fargo, because we took the big hit on the front end. So we're going to roll this out September 12th. So I do not know the results of this as of yet, but we were able to get a discounted rate with Wells Fargo, bringing our cost down dramatically to the point that we can now offer a 60-month program with no minimum, no money down, and be used in conjunction with any offer that we have going on. How's that for a great saying? I'll tell you more about it. Don't know if it'll fit, but it's really a cool option.
You know, Ethan Allen's been doing that for...
Do what? I'm sorry? All right. Because of the interest of time, we're going to move on quickly. This is what I would like you to do. We're going to do a little exercise here. This is the hold your breath exercise. This is where I'm going to ask everybody in the room to stand. And on the count of 3, you will hold your breath. Don't stand yet. I didn't tell you 3. When I count to 3, I'll have everybody stand. You will hold your breath. When you decide you want to breathe, okay, sit down. No cheating on this one, kind of thing. So we're going to see who can hold their breath the longest. All right. Everybody stand. 1, 2, 3. All right, when I count to 3 again, you will start holding your breath for as long as you would like. But when you decide that you want to breathe, just sit down. All right? There are no prizes for being the last one standing, because if you pass out, it'll certainly slow down the meeting. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, go. And notice I'm not participating in this silly exercise. I'm going to sit up here and breathe. We'll see how long you people last. Yeah, I did this exercise once and apparently had a Navy SEAL in the group, and well, 20 minutes later he was still holding his breath, so hopefully there's no Navy SEALs here. Wow, you guys are like crazy. It's all right. No passing out. Sit down when you want. Yeah, breathing is a nice option. All right, do me a favor, give it up for the people that are still standing so everybody can sit down. All right. So I started this out, this next slide, talking about hold your breath exercise. The reality is employees need air. And then I changed it to people need air. Whether they're your guest or anything else, it's actually an acronym for appreciation, inspiration, and recognition. It is a human biological need. As long as you held your breath and we were restricting the air from you, you will get dizzy, you will pass out, it is uncomfortable, and the more of this that you get, the better off you will feel. So one of our philosophies in working with our sales consultants in particular, and you guys already do this so well, you saw it already this morning, but it's the concept of appreciation, inspiration, and recognition. Appreciation shows that you care. This is actually a picture of our associates. We gave everybody a ticket to the Mississippi Braves, which is like a, what is that, a AAA, quadruple A, I don't know what it is. Anyway, it's one of those baseball things. We had a Mescali night out there. We had Kona Ice come into our delivery warehouse area, and we gave everybody free snow cones. I know we did the popsicles yesterday. Same type of concept, show that you care. This is where we actually did a wedding shower for one of our consultants. Last year we had a big Labor Day catfish because we had a big thing the whole company celebrated. So it's just showing genuine appreciation. You guys do this well, but I'm a firm believer that the A represents appreciation. Next one, be a star to something bigger than yourself. This is actually a very cool picture. This is the National Day of Prayer. We sent it out to our employees and we said, hey, no requirement, no pressure, but we are a Christian-based company and we're going to have a National Day of Prayer up at our meeting room. Feel the freedom if you would like to come, and the turnout was absolutely incredible. It was just a 15-20 minute get-together. Now, I will say, because we are a Christian-based company, you do not have to be a Christian to work at Mescali's, but we will expose you to the Word. We actually have prayer before every sales meeting that we have. We take prayer requests. We absolutely are committed to that. To show you how committed we are, we don't work on Sundays. We are a retail store in 2019, and in the 41 years we've been open, we have never, ever worked a Sunday, ever. We have dedicated that day to the Lord. We feel that the Lord has blessed us in our 6 days. I'm not recommending that you guys close on Sundays. I'm just saying at Mescali's, it's a big issue for us. So inspiration, being a part of something bigger than yourself. One of the cool things that we do is we actually let our sales associates lead our training meetings. You want to get something, you really want to let somebody feel like they're a part of something bigger than themselves? Get your sales associates to actually lead your training meetings. We actually started this with this guy in the back corner. Okay? This is Caleb. Caleb actually works for Mescali's. All right? He was one of our first one to take on the challenge. And next week he has been promoted to our retail sales performance coach coming off the sales floor. So having salespeople lead your things. Over there, we actually also have our charity donations like you guys do with St. Jude. That was the Lighthouse, gave them $20,000. But inspiration, being a part of something bigger than yourself. Recognition, great leaders bring out greatness in others. We do the same thing like you did. This is our Gold Club. This is our $1 Million Producers. The other pictures is our Silver Club. But this next slide is pretty cool. So we partnered with a company called Podium. Podium is a review type company. They work on actually sending out surveys to every guest 15 minutes after their purchase. So it's an immediate live and you can start. Well, we actually have communication boards throughout the entire company. And so what we do is whenever we get those 5-star reviews, which I am shocked at how many we get, I'm even more shocked by the number of people that will write in the review. I get those and I'll hit the 5 stars and go on with my life. But I'm amazed at the number of people that will not only write about it, but they'll write about the salesperson's name. They will actually put it in there. And they will put these out. These are all Google reviews. Anybody in the world can see these. We get literally probably 20, 25 of these a day or whatever. But every time we get one that positively mentions one of our customers, this goes on the communication boards for the entire company to see, to recognize the value of what they're doing out there. It's a really cool thing in recognition, and the people love it. And then sometimes you get all 3. This is an email that came from one of our things. I'm going to read it out loud. You can read along with me if you'd like. This came from one of our GMs. I have to brag on Michael Peters today. Last week, a little girl and her mom came in looking for furniture. As he showed them around, the little girl struck up a conversation with Michael on how much she loved Dumbo, how he flies like a bird, and that her mom took her to see the movie for her birthday recently. They did not buy that day, but told him they would return this week to continue shopping. Over the weekend, Michael went out and got this little girl a Dumbo doll and a Disney princess gift bag and brought it to work today with him in hopes that the customer would return as they said they would. They were his first customer in the door for him today. The little girl was so excited and overjoyed when Michael gave it to her. The mom was at a loss for words and almost in tears that Michael was that thoughtful. This is truly an example of next level, over the top customer service. And there's a picture. Is that not cool? What's cool about that is that Michael knows his purpose. It is not about selling furniture. He made a connection, and as a result, made a little girl happy. Now, I did look at the bag and the princess. I noticed that my daughters Ariel and Cinderella are not on the bag, but Aurora is, so I was very excited to see that kind of thing. So my princess still trumps. All right. Okay, we got to move on quickly. How much time do I got? I want to make sure I don't. 10 minutes. Okay, I can make this happen. I can try to make this happen. 3 mil to mow. In January, I went to my team and I was like, look, and you guys do similar kind of stuff like this, but I got to tell you about it. I said, look, I want to have the single biggest mattress month in our history. What does that look like? What are we going to have to do? And I said, I've chosen July. July is always a good mattress month. July of 2019, we need to have the single biggest mattress month. Now, the numbers are irrelevant. They're only relative to your particular organization. In our particular case, 1.2 million was the single biggest mattress month we'd ever had at that point. All right? So I said, I want to do 1.4 million, far above, and that record, by the way, was 3 years old. So it was actually July of 2016 that we had that record. So it is one that really stood for us. $1 million months in our world are a really big thing. So the best was ever 1.2. I decided I wanted to do 1.4. I looked at that. I put out the challenge, the vision to everyone. I said, let's do that. Then I looked at the calendar. And I was like, well, heck, August has 5 Saturdays. Surely if we could do 1.4 million in July, we could do 1.4 million in August with an extra Saturday. Duh. Then I looked at the calendar again and realized that we were closed on Sundays. So the very first day of September is Labor Day. And I know on Labor Day I could probably do $1 million, at least 20% of that in betting. I could do another 200,000. So I came up with this idea and this vision of $3 million in 2 months and a day. I'm not silly. I know I need the day. So, took it to my marketing department, and they came up with a whole logo for it, and it was 3 mil to mow and a day. We started it on July 1st. Now, here's the challenge. After I got all excited about this, I looked at last year's numbers. And in that same time period, we had done like 2.4. Now, all of a sudden, I'm looking at a 25% increase, sustained over like a 10-week period. Now that's significant because those customers that buy in July have a tendency not to buy in August. You know what I'm saying? So to have back-to-back record-breaking months, I knew would be a challenge. Here's the cool thing about it. We created a vision. We involved all management. We had a mattress boot camp, weekly contest. We were transparent with feedback. We were willing to go all in. I took it to my team and I was like, come up with some of the best ideas that you can. Here's the thing that made the difference. The best ideas were not mine. Matter of fact, what came from the people on the front line were incredible. I'm going to show you an example here. I'm going to show you a clip here of a TV commercial. One of my marketing people, just one that works in a cubicle every single day doing her thing, was walking by the mattress department and said, why would anybody go anyplace else to buy a mattress? Our selection is so good. Took it to the marketing director and said, I just don't understand. And the marketing director said, how would you demonstrate that? And she said, what if we got a drone and actually film the mattress department to see what that would look like? I had no idea. So the commercial you're going to see, and I'm going to play it twice because I think it's just that good, is a drone shot that they turned into a mattress commercial that came out of someone else that wasn't even a consultant but wanted to be a part of something bigger than themselves. Look at that shot. Isn't that cool? That's my mattress department. I won't watch the whole thing. For those of you that actually watched all the words instead of looking at my department, I'm letting you get a second chance. Look at my mattress. Look how beautiful that thing is. Is that not awesome? Is that not incredible? Look at all those choices. Maybe that's the reason why nobody could figure out where everything was. All right, we'll go on. So the other big thing that we did is we had a mattress boot camp. In the interest of time, I won't go through all the details, but we decided in June, but we changed the attitude on training. So many times training is for the weaker ones, right? Got to get them up to speed. They're not performing. We changed the mindset on this one. We said, let's have a mattress boot camp and only invite the best of the best. It was by invitation only. You had to come on your day off, and you had to do nothing but learn about mattresses from 9 o'clock in the morning till 5 o'clock at night. Nothing but mattresses. We called it a mattress boot camp. We had sent out 34 invitations. 32 people showed up out of 34 on their day off to become what we called a Tempur-Pedic Titan. Because here's the deal. I couldn't get there with Chime. I couldn't get to my $3 million on Chime mattresses. The horses that we decided to hook up to, Tempur-Pedic, Stearns & Foster, adjustable bases. Those were going to be our horses that we are going to ride. I can tell you that so far, we're well over 40% of our business has been Tempur-Pedic, but we'll get to those details in a moment. All right, so I won't watch the whole thing in the interest of time, but this is just some of my rep actually put this one together, but this was all the training that we did at that particular time. They were called Tempur Titans, is what we ended up calling them. We had 4 classes. You could attend one of 4 classes over a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday period. We did 4 identical classes. And we dove deep, making these people superstars, giving them every tool to make them the best Batman or Batwoman that they could be. That's my mattress manager right there. Looks like Al Roker. I tell him he's the second best mattress salesperson in Mississippi. He's probably the first, but I can't tell him that. So, all right, so we'll go on. In-store point of purchase. We actually revamped up all of our stores. We made sure that we had all sorts of things. Okay, see, that's one of the Stearns & Foster tables, Tempur-Pedic stuff. So we ramped up all that. All right, other thing that we did is we had weekly contests. So we ran a contest that was every week. It goes from Friday through Thursday, so that Friday I can always tabulate. It starts fresh every Friday. The way we designed our contest to keep it exciting for everyone is that you actually earned lottery tickets. Simple concept, but you got 1 ticket for every $2,000 in mattress sales. You got 1 ticket for every Tempur-Pedic mattress. You got 1 ticket for every adjustable base. 1 ticket for every Stearns & Foster. So yes, a split king Tempur-Pedic was a really sweet deal to rack up on tickets. And then we put all the tickets together and we gave out $50 bills on a Saturday morning type of thing. So the more tickets you had, the greater your chances were. Then we actually had like bonus weeks. We had 2 bonus weeks where we paid out double tickets for Tempur-Pedic Stearns and adjustable bases. Once again, I didn't have to pay any more money, but the idea of getting more tickets really drove the business on those odd weeks throughout the month. Anyway, it's been exciting because every single week we've been able to keep them focused on doing that. Somebody else came up with the idea of giving away a Tempur-Pedic mattress. We're giving away a Luxe Breeze during this entire period, which is from July 1st all the way through Labor Day. The interesting thing with that is that we have the salesperson's name at the bottom. If that guest's name is pulled, it wins the free mattress. They win $500 in cash. So high incentive to make sure that every single customer, so the opening when you had a guest come in was quite simply, are you here to register for the free Tempur-Pedic mattress we're giving away? Yes or no, doesn't matter at that point because you're going to register them. Kept Tempur-Pedic top of mind every day with every single guest that was out there. Somebody in marketing came up with a great idea. This is part of that registering. These church fans, once again, somebody in marketing came up with this. I didn't. These are going out. I don't know how high school football is in North Carolina, but it's a big deal in Mississippi. Friday nights are huge. Friday nights in August are really hot in Mississippi, if you didn't know that. These are going out to every single high school game that's going on tonight, right before Labor Day. We are sending this out. We worked out a deal with every single principal. We bought all these, and all night long, people are going to be doing this in Mississippi with my logo on it. How awesome is that? Anyway, all sorts of creative ideas. We had big oversized postcards that we sent out. All right, let me move on. All sorts of things. Transparency. Every single sales associate gets a daily, listen to me, a daily email from me with words of encouragement, telling how proud I am of them, with total transparency of exactly where we were a year ago to exactly where we are today, because I had to have sustained growth all the way around. We produced some new commercials. Got it. So that was our Breeze commercial, obviously promoting Breeze. We are currently one of the highest Breeze producers in the country on Breeze mattresses. We sell more Breeze than almost anyone in the country. Yes, my rep is looking really good with Tempur-Pedic right now because we really took in, owned, and trained on the Breeze mattresses. That was our 4th of July commercial. This is our current Labor Day spot. All right, I'm going to show you one more commercial. So they came to me, we came up with an idea that for Tempur-Pedic, with the $300 gift with purchase, we wanted to give away an Apple gift card. We had never done that before. Unfortunately, Apple gift cards cost us a whole lot more than a pillow. But either which way, we were saying we're going to throw everything at anything and everything we could to drive our business. In this particular case, we would do. So we came up with an Apple gift card that you could buy things like the AirPods, the iPods, Apple TVs, that kind of thing. And so marketing came to me with an idea. They said, hey, we got a really cool idea. Are you all in? Well, that's a tough question to ask Dr. V because you know what my response is always going to be, that I am always all in. So this is a new commercial that we did to promote the Apple gift card.
Apple gift with the big purchase. Take one. Hi, I'm Dr. V. What's our next line? Hey, did you see this new iPad? This thing is really awesome. Good. Apple gift with the big purchase. Take two. These Apple AirPods? These things are really clear. Good. Apple gift with the big purchase. Take three.
So what we did on that particular one, the cool thing is that, so the guy that was filming the commercial was like, so what's your favorite group? And I was like, that's easy. I'm from the 70s, early 80s, Styx. I'm a big fan of Styx. He's like, what's your favorite song? And I was like, Crystal Ball, 1976. Great song, rocks out. He said, this is what I want you to do. Put the Apple AirPods in, crank it up as loud as it goes, pay no attention to us, close your eyes, you rock out. So there are parts where I'm playing the drums, I'm playing the air guitar. He said, you play the whole song, we're just going to film it. And then I'll edit what I need for this spot. So literally, I got to sit there and jam to Crystal Ball by Styx the whole time, and then that's what ended up with. But once again, here's the crazy thing. We put this thing on YouTube, all right? You know how you can skip it after 5 seconds? This is like an 87% completion rate. It is one of our highest rated videos on YouTube of people that get it served up that could skip that don't, which is crazy. All right, let's kind of move on. So where are we at today? I ran these numbers this morning. Current mattress sales, $2,522,535. We are up 553,000. Once again, numbers are only relative to us, but since July 1st, we're up over $500,000. That is a 28.1% increase sustained over 9 weeks. We were up 25.4% in July. We were up 31% currently in August. I have 4 days left because we're closed on Sunday. I got today, I got tomorrow, I got Saturday, and then I got Monday to do another 477,000. Now here's the thing. I should do $40,000 today. I should do $60,000 tomorrow. I should do $150,000 on Saturday, and I should do $250,000 on Monday. And if those 4 numbers hold, we are on track to do $3 million, 2 mo, and a day. Go ahead, applaud that, yes. Thank you, thank you. But we're not there yet. I got a lot of stress between now and then, to say the least. So, the reality is if it hits, it'll hit at 6 o'clock on Monday. I mean, there's like no grace in this thing at all. There's, people are like, you think we can get it done before Labor Day? No, the goals are too high. I mean, I've got to maintain that level of growth over literally almost 10 weeks to be able to make that happen. All right, I'm going to skip that commercial. All right, for my final thing, what I'm going to do. All right, we got a phone with the timer. Slip the timer to me if you'll just open it up so I have the timer. Sure. All right. I'm going to end with this one. And then I'll be around here. I'm here all day long. So if anybody has any questions, even at break time, feel free to come up to me. But in the interest of time. All right. Kind of get you guys going before we actually do that. Everyone gets to play on this one. Thank you for that. All right.
That's a co-signal for your phone.
Got it. In a second, I'm going to have everybody stand again. We're going to do what we call the handshaking warm-up. The handshaking warm-up, quite simply, don't stand until I tell you to stand, but it's quite simply, I want you to shake his hand as many people in the room that you can, all right, kind of thing, and you only got about 12 seconds to do it, all right, thereabouts. Or when I decide to start going ding, 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 and then we'll stop, all right? Any questions? Everyone please stand. All right. Ready? Go. Ding, 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 ding. Sit on down, sit on down, sit down. Ding, 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 ding. Here.
Competitive crowd.
There you go. All right. Okay, sit on down. We'll close with this. All right, sit on down. There we go. Take a break in just a second. We'll close with this. All right, here we go. All right, how many people think that they shook at least 2 hands? Raise your hand. Raise them high if you did. Excellent. All right, how many people think that they shook 5 hands? There we go. Excellent. All right, let's stretch it out there. How many people shook 7 hands, if you think so? All right. How many people shook my hand? 1. Ooh. Oh. Whoa. Yes. Stacy, thank you. Sincerely. Thank you. Now let me ask you a question. Almost every hand went up on 2 and then 5 and then 7, which means that in this room, I shook the least number of hands of anyone in this room. Here's my question. Whose fault was it? Okay, that wasn't a rhetorical question. That actually does deserve an answer. Whose fault is it that I only had one hand shaken? Yours. Mine. Quite simply. Let me ask you a question. If I had come up to you and stuck my hand out, would you have shaken it? Yeah. Without hesitation, you would have. So if I didn't get my hand shaken, it's because I chose not to reach out. As a matter of fact, Stacy came up with my eyes down, looking at a phone, and still stuck out her hand to reach out to mine to shake it. There were multiple people that walked all around me that didn't reach out to me. And unfortunately, I become the person at church that goes, woe is me, nobody likes me, nobody reaches out to me. So here's my challenge for you guys, is to realize that it is up to you as the individual to reach out. If you're not getting the responses that you need from your people that you are leading, it is your responsibility to reach out to them. You need to be the Stacys of the world, that when they're distracted, their eyes are down, they're doing something totally different, they're struggling, you as the leader of Broad River, the one that has influence, has to be the one that's going to reach out in order for them to have the success that they have. That is that whole concept of when we say being all in, it starts at the beginning of the day, it goes all the way through the end of the day, it just becomes part of who you are. Thank you once again for allowing me to come and share some of the insights of the Sky Furniture.